So we've got all the bark cleared off the top section of it. Rather than work underneath, we're going to have, Jack's going to come around and we'll roll the log. It's too heavy for me to roll with the PV, so we'll use the tractor a little bit, roll that around, then we can get the bark off the next side, or the bottom side of it. So to get the bark off, we're going to use one of 3 tools. So Jack's got a draw knife here. So you draw a knife, flip it over so that the bevel part's down. Yeah, and it might be a little thick right here. Maybe we can work in tandem. If I can come up under here like this and pop it. It's on there pretty good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If I can get you started here, I think you can get going. You just need a little bit of a starting point. All right, let me show you here. Jump off there for a minute. So with your bevel down, just come over here like this, See that cambium? I want all the cambium off there. And you might find that this might not be working for you. If not, we can get the axe and work that around. There might be some areas that are harder than others, but just see what you can do, what works best for you.
I gotta figure out what knee braces I want to save up for.
All right, guys, are you ready for the movie quote game?
Movie quote game.
I'll say the quote, and you guys have to guess the movie, and we'll take turns.
Oh, okay.
All right, so.
Well, this is going to be tricky because you have to pick movies that you think the person will see.
Yeah. Well, yes. All right. Here's the first one. I am going to paraphrase here. When I move to America, I'm going to find a round American woman and raise rabbits.
A round American woman and raise rabbits.
I feel like I've heard that.
Is it Coming to America?
Nope, it's not a comedy.
Okay.
It's actually a war movie. Want a hint?
Yes, I will be.
It's got Sean Connery.
Okay.
Submarines.
Ah, okay. Hunt for Red October.
Yes. Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
The quote?
I mean, I've seen the film.
What he's talking to is number 1 about America. Are there papers? No papers between states?
Yeah.
And it's like, when I move there, I'm going to find a round American woman and raise rabbits. So we've got the log peeled, and as several of you picked out, yes, it's not a Doug fir. I misspoke. It's actually a grand fir or a white fir, but it's fine. It'll suit the purpose. So Brian and I measured out the bridge, and what did we come up with?
22 feet.
22 feet, and so we're going to take off a few feet here. Jack just measured it, and would you guys like to attack this with the crosscut saw with 2 guys?
I think that sounds fun.
See how it goes. Jack, grab the crosscut saw and go put the helper handle on the very end. You want Brian to help you, or you want to do it yourself?
I'll try it myself.
All right, come on over.
Then you guys can lounge about and drink pina coladas.
Okay, well, I'll be impressed if you can get through that with a buck saw. Where's our mark at? Do you know where that is?
Yeah, let's see here. That's 22.
Okay, so let's pick up 2 more. Let's go 24. So let's hit it right here. Right there. And so here, Brian, can you take this over? I'll show you how to get it started. Getting it started is the hardest part, Jack. So we were going to do a 2-man cut here, but Jack wants to see if he can.
You want me to try it?
Get through this. Well, I do like to see you. Brian and we had our fair share of cutting this morning.
Yeah, Jack, you got to catch up to us.
I'm gonna feel that in the morning.
What I have to do is I have to beat both of you.
Okay, so when you're cutting, you can cut 2 men with these 1-man saws. You see the hole in the end. If you to put the helper handle over there, then you or Brian can help, and it cuts a lot faster. But if you're cutting by yourself, bring this helper handle up here. It gives you the ability to push down, which push pressure on the front of the saw. So where's our 22-foot mark?
Right there.
Where? Right here? You sure?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll add on right here. So let's come over here and give ourselves a little bit of extra. So when you're starting it, Jack, usually I hold it right here, come back, and then lift a little pressure off. I'll get your curve started, and make sure it's straight. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And it cuts on the push. So as you push, that's where it cuts. Light pressure back. There you go. Get into a rhythm. Don't overcut.
It ruins me rhythm.
If you come over like that and you put your pressure and stick the saw, you can break it or bend it.
Okay.
And we don't want that. So stop a little early. Use the back of the saw, that's where your power is. So one thing you can do, Jack, is it binding in the kerf? Is it hard to push? Put your saw in there. Now it's better to use a wood wedge. I just don't have one, but in a pinch, put that all the way down there. You can take an axe and you can try that now. See if that binds a little less. Just don't be careful not to come up with the edge. Is that better?
Yeah.
You gonna finish it on your own?
No, probably not. I'm very close to the bottom, but I'm kind of
Are you done?
pretty much.
All right, take the helper handle off there and give it to Brian. He can get on the other end and you guys can finish it together. Good job, gentlemen. Well done, Jack. You got through 3/4 of that by yourself, if not more.
More.
What do you think?
And I don't think it's very much fun.
You like the chainsaw?
Well, yeah, I like the chainsaw. Well, I mean, it's fun until you get tired.
Yeah, it's tough. So what we need to do, our next step is we need a flat side on this log. For a walkway, I want to have a minimum of 12 inches if we can get away with it. We've got taper in this log. This is the big end, and it does taper down over there, but Brian and I checked it out, and the nice thing about it is that it's actually kind of oval, so it really lends itself to the shape that we need. So Brian, why don't you lay this across there? So the first thing we'll do is lay this across there and get our so we get our 12 inches from this point, and this is kind of smashed, so kind of account for that.
Thereabouts.
Right there?
Yeah.
And then we got a little mark right there, right? Now take the level. Don't mark the whole thing because this is just a guess. We need to be level. Now level across that mark. You flip it. You can hold this way so you can hit the draw on. Jack, give him a hand there.
That side. Yeah.
So you're on that mark. Count for the thickness of the crayon.
Oh, so let's go down a little bit, right about there.
And this, I'll hold this here. Okay. And there's our level, so go ahead and scribe that. So how deep, with your square, how deep is our cuts going to be? 2 inches.
Yeah, just about 2 inches.
2 inches,
So are we
okay.
just going to saw down and then use a chisel?
Yeah, we'll try a couple different ways. We talked about maybe we'll try a fro.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that works. We'll try the axes, and we'll just go with whatever works best. When you're pulling a string out of a chalk line, you do it upside down.
So that.
Right, because the chalk is sitting in there, and that's the reason why they're this shape, because it funnels it down there and it coats the string. Open this up and pull it out. So
And it also coats you.
yeah, we'll stay downwind from it. So take this down. We're going to do a test. Just do a test pull and see what's going to be in our way that we need to remove. So go ahead and run it on down there.
All right.
Those limbs are hard as glass. Okay, so we discussed it here, and we're going to go ahead and go with this. I want the crown. I think it's more important to have the crown in the log. We're getting a little bit deeper here. I mean, I can see we're going to be cutting 3 inches or so, 2 on the ends, but that's okay. The span's not very big, and it's going to be straight. If we can do over 90 degrees and get that dog leg in the in the walking platform, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the handrail. I just don't think it's a problem. I think we'll just go with it. I'd rather have the crown up, and well, this is the way it's going to be. You good, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm on here.
You tight?
Yep.
All right, snapping. Okay, so we do a pull it up just to check and see if there's anything that's going to be in the way, and then I can chop that out.
Papa, why don't we just snap it so that way we can see?
Because I don't want two. Boy, that's hard. I don't want two chalk lines. Okay, so we've got our line snapped down here, the full length of the log. Brian and Jack are going to start. They're going to cut right down to the line. So you guys just be really careful, Jack. Don't get talk with your partner, communicate, because the saw is going to kind of do this deal. And just whatever you do, do not overcut that line. I don't even want you to touch it. Just stay right up above it, okay?
Okay.
Getting close over here. How's it look there?
Probably pretty good.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'll spray it. Well, no, it's still good. Slippery. All right.
After all this, I sure hope I don't have to go and vacuum.
That's the deal, though, wasn't it? No chores.
Less chores.
Fewer.
Oh, you okay? That bug isn't okay.
I was trying to avoid cutting the bug in half.
Why avoid cutting the bug in half?
Mostly because there was no reason to cut him in half. That's what I thought.
How's that working?
It's pretty good. We're not going too far.
Not bad?
That's probably good for me.
Yeah, if we tilt up a little bit, I got another. It's a little too far.
Okay, so we're going to try the fro. This is the mallet that
Okay.
Brian built. What
Yep.
what type of wood did you make this out
Oh,
of?
that is
It's hard.
black locust, Robinia pseudoacacia.
That's a very fancy pronunciation there.
For something that's basically a mall.
Okay, and so we're going to try this here, and we'll see. A fro is used for splitting shapes. And they're really good for some things. I don't know if it's going to work for this, but we'll try. It's almost too small. But we'll see here.
Pretty good for me.
All right, I need a little more on this side. Not quite so much. That's good.
Could you not use the axe this close, Papa? Because it gets in our eyes.
We got some safety goggles in there, Jack.
It's not just the eyes, it's your
Face.
yeah.
Except the unkind blows of the wood. As we cover it.
Yeah, this isn't going to work because it's there's not enough. The first piece was fine, but there's not enough area to hit.
Yeah, you can't hit it.
Hit here, so we're going to have to axe that off there. It was a
Much to Jack's delight.
nice effort. So the framing chisel works pretty good until you get to these big knots, and then it doesn't work very good at all. So we're going to have to chop these guys out. And we've got a bunch of them.
About a quarter inch on my side.
Nice, you guys, the worst job. Especially in blisters.
No more.
Brian, is that a chainsaw?
This is all my fault. All of this is my fault. I accept blame fully.
Now, you said something earlier about let's do it by hand.
Yes.
So, can we show the before?
Yeah.
Or with the chainsaw and
take a look.
with the hand hewn. This is a tough piece of wood. Let's show you the difference. So we have what, an hour into that first part right there?
Into just this section here?
Yeah, and it's not super smooth. We tried everything. We used the framing chisels, we used the adze, and the only way we could do it is with the axe because it's so knotty.
Yeah.
It's not breaking it off clean, and we were gonna be here for a couple days chopping on that.
Yeah,
so there's the chainsaw. I got a bad shadow here. Let me come over. But I mean, you can see the difference here. So what we did is Brian and I cut about half of it with the crosscut saw, and then we took the chainsaw and we're just finishing up here. So you can see there's the cuts, and even with that, with these knots, we're not able to chunk these off here. So Brian and I are just freehanding basically a chainsaw mill without the guides there, the rest of this off here. So yeah, so, and the reason that, you know, I'm not dogmatic about doing things traditionally. I like to know how to do the things and have the tools and a basic understanding that for when the EMP comes, we can still function, but let's not be foolish because chainsaws are pretty amazing. So,
Yeah, they're pretty great.
yeah, so let's, Brian's going to help me keep on the chalk line, and then we'll just knock this out really quick, and then we can move on to the fun stuff. You feel any shame for using the chainsaw?
No, not in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't know. And that looks great, huh? That turned out really good. So what do you think? Jump up on there, Brian. How's that width feel? Is it uncomfortable?
No, it's quite nice actually.
12 inches?
12 inches is pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
As long as you're not... It could even be a little narrower. It could be 10, I think, and it'd still be okay.
Yeah, if I were to do another one, and I was really close on my log diameter, I think I would go with 10 inches and I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
You can walk side by side, no problem. We'll have a nice rail. The rail on this is really going to be cool. It'll come off at an angle and have a double log rail. We'll do a little mini scarf joint to connect the handles, cool. And it'll be nice. That looks great, Brian. Good scale. Not seeing any flex in there.
Oh, I'd hope not. I bet.
Yeah, I can see right there. I can see our string line must have got hung up. It's got a little bit of a rise on there.
Yeah, right in this section right here.
Yep, I can see that. We might have to trim that down. We'll see it. I think we can put it in place, and if we need to trim it, we can hit it with the saw a little bit. Yeah. But looks great. All right, shall we pick up and go? Let's go for a dirt bike ride.
Yeah, all right.
We might have to show you a new bike.
Yeah.